Some pageants allow you to do an introduction to your judges before the interview. Now, what are you supposed to say during this? Well, in this episode, I'm going to share with you the 3 things that you need to communicate in your judge's introduction. And I'm going to share with you some examples of how to incorporate this for you. Plus, in the end, I'm going to show you how you can practice this. Welcome back to the Win a Pageant podcast. My name is Alycia Darby. I'm thrilled that you are here because pageants are won in the interview. And I know that it is so important. I know you know that, or else you wouldn't be here right now. And the pageant introduction, right as you walk into the judge's interview room, is so vital to the rest of the interview. And so that's why you're here. That's why it is so important. And I want to share with you really the idea behind this introduction. You know, the pageant introduction right to the judges right in front of them is really intended to give the judges context. Some of them have read your paperwork, but it's been weeks since they even looked at it. And so it helps them to really connect your paperwork to you as a person. Now, in other cases, the judges may not have read your paperwork at all. And so this is why you can use this introduction, if your pageant allows it, in order to connect with the judges and guide the interview before it even begins. So I recommend that these 3 things be the 3 things that you include in this introduction. You don't have to overthink them. Most of these introductions are 30 seconds or less. Now, before I tell you what those 3 things are, it's important to note that these 3 things are a part of the overall interview strategy that I teach my clients inside of the academy. So to get what these 3 things are, I highly recommend going through the entire core curriculum inside of the academy so that you understand your branding, and your paperwork ought to be tied to these 3 things as well. You do not want to have brand new things that you're introducing to the judges, because if they have read your paperwork, and you should have designed your paperwork to guide your interview as well, all of these things can work together. All right, so here are the 3 things you need to share. And then I'm going to give you some examples. The first thing that you want to share in here is your legacy project and or your heart story. Now, if you've been following me for a while on this channel, then you might be aware what those 2 things are. If not, you got to check out the free pageantcourse.com. That kind of gives you a teaser, but we go really deep into these as individual sound bites for you inside of the Win a Pageant Academy, okay? But essentially, the legacy project is the thing that takes you to build, and it helps you stand out to the judges. And the heart story is sort of your reasoning why, okay? Your why behind pageantry, although it goes a little bit deeper. But that is really vital to communicate in your introduction, because we want to have that. That's the thing that makes you stand out. So you want your interview to be about those main things. So that's one thing you want to include. I'm going to explain the order of how you share these in a moment, but that's one thing you want to include. Another thing that you want to include is something about your family or your career or your personal life, okay? Oftentimes we connect with people through our similarities. And when you share something about your personal life or your family, it helps us to find that story in our own world and feel more connected to you. So sharing a personal aspect, or maybe you're a mom of a certain amount of kids, or your career, something like personal, can be really valuable to include in your judge's introduction. Now, the third thing that you want to include, but not necessarily in this order, is something fun, something cool about you, something that doesn't make you feel so serious all the time. This is like the interesting fact or something fun, a hobby that you love to do. This piece should be something that relates to you as a title holder, okay? One of the most common in this area is something around fitness or being active or travel, something like that, okay? Something that relates to what a title holder would be doing anyway. Okay, now, how do you organize these things? So how do you say all of these pieces? Well, my recommendation is that you sandwich the 2 most important aspects that you really hope to share during the interview. Put those 2 at the beginning and at the end, and put the one that you're like, this one, I don't need to spend a ton of my interview time on this. Put that one in the middle, okay? Now, you'll know how to organize this even better when I teach you how to practice it. But before we get into that, let me first give you some examples, okay? So I've written these out for you. These are just hypothetical things that these are not real people or real situations, but they're just ideas to give you a thought of what you might be competing against. This is how I would teach my clients to do it, okay? So let me give you an example. Hi there, I'm Sarah Annaworth, and I've raised $1.4 million to help children travel the world. I'm a mom of 4, and I myself have visited 105 countries just in the last 10 years. Okay, let me give you another one. Hi there, I'm Jenny. My best-selling book is what funds my scholarship fund for women over 50. I've run 6 marathons before I turned 30 years old, and I recently won the battle against breast cancer. Let me give you another one. Hi there, I'm Charlene Kova. I'm a recent graduate of Wharton Business School, and I'm a dog mom to my little Yorkie, and my next goal is over the course of the next year to teach etiquette skills to over 10,000 girls. So do you see how each of these are short and sweet? They kind of hit on those 3 areas, but in different orders, and arranged in a way that draws, and this is key, curiosity. If you tell them some women, when I look at they're like, can you help me with an introduction? I'm like, always yes, send me a draft. And they send me a draft and it's like their whole life story. If you tell your entire life story, then as a judge, I'm like, okay, I'm good. I don't know what else to ask her. I feel like I just learned everything, right? We want to share it in a way that offers a little bit of curiosity so that if the judge did not read your paperwork, they're able to use just your introduction alone to draw some questions out of, okay? Now, here's how you practice this, and this part's very important, okay? When you are setting this up, you got to practice it a bit to determine if the order that you are saying things and the way in which you are saying it actually makes sense and draws some curiosity from the people listening, okay? Your judges in this case. Now, how to practice this? I want you to organize them just like I have here, just 1, 2, 3, in the order that you think would be best. And then ask a few people, ask your coach or a series of coaches. If you're in our academy, come onto our office hours and we'll all give you this feedback, okay? We could do this and you could do it in 30 seconds on office hours with us, okay? Here's what you do. You say, okay, everybody, I'm going to be sharing with you my introduction. I want you to know the first 1 to 2 questions that you would ask me if this is all the information that you had, okay? So for my clients listening, I want you to come on office hours and do this. If you have a personal introduction in your pageant, this is something we ought to be doing for you in office hours, okay? So here's what you do. You tell the group, in our case on our office hours, all of our clients are there. We've got a lot of people in the room. So you could do this, and in the chat, you would get a whole list of what people would ask you, which would be really valuable information. This is going to tell you if you want to reorganize things. If people are asking you, how long have you had your Yorkie? You might be like, oh, is that all they got out of that? Like, what about the 10,000 girls I'm teaching etiquette to, you know? Or if they are immediately asking you about your marathon versus asking you about your battle with breast cancer, you might be like, maybe I can word this a little bit differently or reorganize it in a way that actually draws the information out of the judges that I'm trying to get them to ask me. That's, by the way, extra little tip here for you. That's how you lead your interview, not by taking the reins and driving it, but by actually creating the GPS to guide the interview, okay? That's what we teach inside of the academy. All right, so I hope that this has been helpful for you. Those 3 things that you can write inside of your introduction and how to practice to make sure it has the impact that you want. Bye for now.